Ma'am, from 98 to 211 belongs to
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. தெரியாம வந்துட்டானாட்ட இருக்கு. Ma'am, muteல இருக்குங்க ma'am.
Okay. So good morning, students. So last class, we have demonstrated 3 shift operations, that is logical shift left, logical shift right, and arithmetic shift right. Have you all completed? Have you all completed your shift operations?
Please tell no, unmute and tell yourself.
Did you all complete that? So did you face any difficulties during the execution of all shift instructions? You have your
Ma'am, for the given value, we are getting error, ma'am.
Okay. You're getting error. Huh?
Yes, ma'am. But for 16-bit values, we are
getting which operation?
For everything, ma'am.
Can you project your screen, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. 1 second.
See, students, if you have any clarification in the shift operation, you can ask.
Ma'am, I'll project, ma'am.
Okay. 1 second. What's your roll number?
Ma'am, 102.
Oh, okay. Okay, what is the problem here?
Ma'am, it's telling that it's unable to encode, ma'am.
Ma'am, the same problem, ma'am. It is 16-bit they have to load, ma'am. They are loading 32-bit, ma'am.
Okay. 16-bit register you have to use. See, here you have initialized 32-bit value into R1 register. Instead of that, you can use higher order registers or use 16-bit data. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am. For 16-bit, it's working, ma'am.
Ma'am, he can use move T in order to load the higher byte, no, ma'am?
Pradeepa, 1 second, Pradeepa.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. See, you can load the first LSB for a 16-bit, ma. You have written move R1, comma X value 32-bit, no? Load only 5432 first.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you use, please do it, no? I will just tell. The others, please listen. If you're getting this error, you can clear it like this. The next line you can write, after R1, you are loading LSB bit, no? After that, move T R1 comma hash the MSB. You can remove those zeros also, ma, in the previous line. Only 16-bit is enough.
With zeros, ma'am.
Oh, okay, okay. No, saw some zeros. It is hexa. Okay, okay. Okay, ma'am. You can include the MSB's 4 bits, I mean 16 bits. First to do for one register, maybe you can check that and you
Ma'am,
can.
minus, we have to put minus in both or in any one, it's enough, ma'am. Negative value.
Minus for both.
Minus 0x, what is that value? 5432.
Ma'am, 5432.
Okay, okay.
8
The first
Ma'am,
you
in
execute the first instruction. First execute பண்ணுங்க. First move R1 னா execute பண்ணுங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் என்னன்னு பார்க்கலாம். There is one error, no?
Yes, ma'am.
என்ன என்ன இருக்குன்னு பாருங்க. Font ரொம்ப இதா இருக்கு. சின்ன small.
Kindly zoom it, no?
Otherwise you read the
Yes, ma'am.
error.
Ma'am, it's telling
What is
that
the error?
it cannot be represented by 0 to 255.
Cannot.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, in your signed numbers, you give 3 digits alone.
Okay.
Move R1, hash 0x, only 3 digits allowed. So give 3 digits. Okay.
Now also it's telling like that, ma'am. The same error we are getting.
See,
Same
move
error.
TR3, hex 8 is there, no? Your sign bit, you have made it as negative.
Yes, ma'am.
So just remove that, no? Change it as 7. Change your 8 as 7.
Yes, ma'am. Now okay. Now it's building now.
Okay, okay. Getting output? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. What about remaining students? So have you all got the output?
Ma'am, but for negative inputs, how can we get the output, ma'am? It's showing like error. As he projected on the screen, it's the same error, ma'am.
Same error you got.
Yes, ma'am. For positive integers, we are getting the output, but for negative, we are getting errors, ma'am. Even if we use move W and move T instructions.
Okay. பிரதீபா அவங்க சொல்றது ஏதாவது தெரிஞ்சதா உனக்கு? எனக்கு புரியல. அவங்க என்ன சொல்றாங்க? சைன்ட்ல என்ன சொல்றாங்க?
Ma'am, we have given 32-bit data, ma'am.
Okay. ஆனா நம்ம இதுல ஒர்க் ஆச்சுல்ல அது. So what is the
sign bit as 1, ma'am. And they have also put negative, minus sign.
Negative. Okay, okay.
So maybe because of that it may occur, ma'am.
Suppose if we are representing negative number, இப்ப minus கொடுத்தோம்னா that should be in decimal format, not in hexadecimal format.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
நினைக்கிறேன். See, if you are giving negative sign, the number representation should be in decimal, not in hex. Suppose if you are giving hex number, the 31st bit must be 1. So அந்த மாதிரி இருக்க மாதிரி பார்த்துக்குங்க. அதான் பிரதீபா, அதான் உங்க question.
Yes, ma'am. Maybe in the value we have given it as hex minus hex 8a. So what it means is it's a negative number with the MSB bit as 1.
Okay, okay.
So if they take it as hexadecimal number, I think some issues coming, ma'am.
Okay.
Maybe I will check this again, ma'am, and I will put it in the group.
Okay, Pradeepa.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So any other doubts? So shall we move on to the next
Ma'am?
instruction? Yes.
Ma'am, for manual calculation, should we draw that in a box or we can also insert it in handwritten format, ma'am?
Either you can write or type the numbers.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Any other clarifications? Shall we move on to the next instruction? Yes or no, students?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. So last class we have demonstrated these three, that is logical shift left, logical shift right, and arithmetic shift right. Okay. So remaining two instruction related to your parallel shift operations, that is rotate right instruction, rotate right extended. Okay. So rotate right instruction means actually, so this bit rotation, do not discard any bits from the register. Instead, the bit values are removed from one end of the register here. So removed from one end of the register and inserted into other end. And your D naught is copied into carry, and again your D naught is placed in D 31st bit, and bits are rotated towards right direction. Okay. So rotate right extended means, so it rotates the number to the right by one time, that is by one place. So it's actually encoded as ROR has 0. Only one rotation will be allowed. Okay, we cannot specify number of rotations in the instruction. Okay, so your D naught is placed into carry, again carry to 31st bit, and bits are rotated towards right direction. Okay, so this allows 32-bit, complete 32-bit rotation using your register operand and the carry flag. Okay. So in this program, so I have included two instruction for ROR. ROR is the rotate right without flag update. ROR is the rotate right with flag update. Similarly, RRX, rotate right extended without flag update, and RRX is the rotate right extended with flag update. Okay. So according to the first instruction, 09 is transferred to R0. So look at this table, your R0 holds 09. Okay. And after that, I'm moving this 16-bit word into R1 register. So this instruction is used to move 16-bit signed hex value to lower half word of R1. Okay. So what is the next instruction? Move R3, #73A2. So 16-bit hex value is loaded into lower half word of R3. So your R1 holds this value and your R3 holds this alone, 73. After execution of this instruction, your R3 holds 73A2. Only it holds 16-bit value. So after that, I am using move top instruction. What is the purpose of move top instruction?
Please
What is the purpose of
answer, Ma. Number 98, please answer.
So what is the operation of move top? Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, to load the value on the upper side, these
Okay. After execution, what will be the content of R3? Please tell me.
32-bit content will be saved in them.
Tell me the answer. Exact answer.
0x5D817382, ma'am.
Okay. Actually, previous instruction, that is before that move top instruction, we have loaded 7382 into R3. Okay. Your R3 holds, that is LSB holds 7382. So this instruction move the 16-bit hex value to upper half word of R3. Okay. So after execution, your R3 holds 5D81 and 7382. After execution of move top instruction, it holds 32-bit value. Okay, is that clear?
Clear, ma'am.
Yes. So after move top, the instruction included here is ROR, R2, R1, #24. So according to this instruction, all the bits of your R1 moved 24 places to the right. Is that clear? So your R1 holds this value, that is 25C3. Okay. So according to the instruction, the number of rotations to be performed here is 24. So all the bits move 24 places to the right. So that is the operation of this ROR, R2, R1, #24. So look at this ROR. Initially, your R1 is loaded this value, that is 25C2. So this one represents your 32-bit binary value. So this is the binary representation of your 25C3. Okay. So what is the operation of this instruction? So first it will place the D0 bit into carry, and again D0 to 31st bit, and bits are rotated towards right direction. Okay. So for 24th rotation, this will be your content, and your carry is set to 0. Okay. So after rotation, your R2 holds this value, that is 25C300. So clear? And next one is the RORS, R4, R3, R0. That is rotate right with flag update. Okay. So R3 holds 5D817382. So that is your input. Okay. That is 5D817382. Okay. A number of rotations to be performed, 9. R0 holds 0, 9. Okay. So rotate right by 9 bits with flag update. So that is the meaning of this instruction, RORS, R4, R3, R0. Okay. So after execution, initially your carry is set to 0. After execution, that is after the 9th rotation, you will be having this one. You will be getting this value. That is your R4 holds this one. Your carry is set to 1. Okay. And next one is the rotate right extended R5, R3. What is R3? R3 is 7382. So this instruction will allow only one rotation. And next instruction is RRX, that is rotate right extended with flag update. Okay. So your R3 initially holds this one, 5D8173A4. Okay. So this is the input, that is 5D8173A2, and carry is set to 1 here. After the rotation, what is the operation? This 0 is transferred to, placed into carry, and carry to 31st bit, and bits are rotated towards right direction. So after execution, your carry is reset. Is that clear? So logical shift left is for performing your multiplication, and logical shift right is for performing 2 power n division. Okay. Arithmetic shift right is similar to your logical shift right, but it's mainly for mainly used for performing 2's complement operation. So any doubts regarding your shift instructions? Students, any doubts?
Please
So next I
repeat.
will execute this code in Kale Microvision. Okay. So to rotate right instruction with flag update, without flag update, and there are 2 rotate right extended instruction with flag update, without flag update. Okay. Narmada இப்ப join பண்ணிடுறேன் 2 minutes and so I will execute the code now.
Shall
So
I
first,
continue, ma'am?
Pradeepa, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So first, according to your first instruction, your R0 is loaded with 09. Okay. And next, I will execute the next code, next instruction, your R1 is loaded with 25C3. Okay. And according to the third instruction, your R3 is loaded with 7382. Okay. So after that, the instruction given here is move top. Okay. So after execution of move top instruction, your R3 holds 32-bit value. It is used to combine your lower order 16-bit and higher order 16-bit. So now your R3 holds 32-bit value. Okay. And next I am going to execute ROR instruction. Okay. So after execution, after rotation, the answer for this one is, that is after the execution of ROR, your R2 holds this value, that is 25C300. So your R2 is updated this value, 25C300. So what is the next instruction? Rotate right with flag update. So here initially your carry is set to 1. You have to clear this carry before execution of ROR. So now your carry is clear. Okay. So execute RORS instruction. So see here your R4 is updated with 32-bit answer, and also your carry is set to 1. Okay. Is that clear? According to that, after execution of RORS, your carry is set to 1. So now your carry is updated. Next, I am going to execute this RRX instruction. Okay. So after execution, your R5 is updated with 32-bit value and carry is set to 1. Actually, this is RRX without flag update. So this instruction does not affect the flag status of XPSR register. Next, I am going to execute this RRXS. So now your carry is resetted and your R6 is updated with this 32-bit value. So in this way, we can check your rotate right instruction with or without flag update and rotate right extended instruction with or without flag update. So you can give only 8-bit value here from 00 to FF. So it can accommodate only 8-bit value. Okay. Don't give 16-bit value. Okay. So any other doubts? So that's all about your shift and rotate instructions. So do you have any doubts?
Clear, ma'am.
Clear? Okay. Pradeepa?
Yes, ma'am, I will continue.
Okay. So Pradeepa madam will explain the next experiment. Okay.
Is the screen visible, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes. So, good morning, all of you. So, this week we will discuss about the handling of array in your ARM Cortex. Okay. So, in array handling, we will first see how to add 4 numbers, then to find out the positive and negative numbers in an array, and we'll also discuss on sum of n numbers and array addition. So these 4 programs we will do it in this week. Okay. So array is nothing but group of elements with the same data type. So here we will all have only 32-bit numbers. Okay. So first, when you want to add 4 numbers, what you have to do is first you have to read the numbers from the user. So let us take the 4 numbers as x1, x2, x3 and x4. Okay. So now what we have to do, we cannot add these numbers directly. So what we have to do, we have to move these register into the data registers. So I'll take 4 different data registers, R0, R1, R2, R3, and I will load the data from x1 to R0, from x2 to R1, x3 to R2 and x4 to R3. So after loading the data into the data register, then we can perform the addition R0, R1, R2 and R3. That those 4 data has to be added. And we don't have a single instruction to add all the 4 data. So we have to add 2 registers and store it in a temporary register and again store add the next data. So before moving into the program, so what we will see is we are saying load the data from the data from the input value into the data register. So how to load this? So what are the instructions supported? We will discuss first. Okay. So in your ARM Cortex, to access your memory, you have different instructions with different data sizes. So for example, if you want to read the data from the memory, then you will be using the instruction load. So all load instructions will be with the letter LD. So LD represents load data register. LDR means load data register. If you want to write back the data what you have into the memory, then you have to go with the instruction STR, store. Okay, so STR nothing but store register. store the data, whatever you have, into the memory. Okay. So here, if you want to access 8-bit unsigned data, then you will be using LDRB, which means that it is a byte information, which is an 8-bit. So it is if it is a signed byte, you will use the word SB. So load signed byte from the memory. Okay. So if it is a 16-bit word, then we have to use it as H, which means it's a half word. Okay. So it will load 16-bit unsigned data from the memory. So if it is a signed bit, it is SH. So if you want to read 32-bit information, then you will be using the instruction LDR. So multiple 32-bit LDM and double word LDRD. And for stack related operations, you have pop instructions and push instructions. Okay. Similarly, like your load instruction for the different data types, you have the different instructions for the storing the data into the memory also. So what this will do, it saves the 8-bit unsigned value into the memory. So here it saves 8-bit signed data into the memory. Here it saves or it stores half word, which is 16-bit unsigned data into the memory. So this stores signed half word into the memory. So here 32-bit data will be stored, multiple 32-bit will be stored, and double word will be stored. So push and pop instructions are used for stack related operations, which you will be using later. Okay. So how to access or how to load the data from the memory? So memory means, so data will be stored in different addresses. Okay. So this is my memory. So if it is an 8-bit data memory, then it will have locations starting from 0 to 2 power 8. So many address locations will be there. So how to access the data from the memory? So we have to point to the address and we have to access the content corresponding to this address. Okay, it's similar to like a pointer. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to specify the memory location, and from the memory location we have to access the data. So to access the data, we have the square bracket. So inside the square bracket, whatever you give, it represents the address. Okay. So in this address, you are going to access the content. So this square bracket represents you are accessing the content. So if I write it like LDRB, RD, square bracket, RN, hash offset, which means that the data stored in this memory address will be loaded into this RD register. So if offset is not given, assuming it is 0 by default, okay. So if you have some offset, then RN will be added with that offset value, and that memory location data will be accessed and loaded into this memory. Loaded into the data register RD. So this is the destination register. So here read the byte from the memory location RN plus offset and load it in the RD register. Suppose if I am writing like this LDR RD, RN. So it will read the data from the memory location RN and it will be loaded into the RD. Suppose my address is 5. If I write R1, content of R2, where R2 is equal to 5 now. Let us say that R2 I have loaded with 5. So what will happen? I have a data something like 40. So if I am writing LDR R1, square bracket R2, what will be loaded in my R1 register? Can you tell? Can you please tell? Number 90. Sorry, 90 is not here. 99. Number 99, can you please tell me what will be the answer loaded in R1 register? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Please reply, ma. Answer me. Unmute yourself and answer the question. So my R2 register is 5. So it is pointing to the address 5. So this is the address 5. What is the data contained in address 5? What is the data I have written? It is 40. So what will my R1 be loaded with? Will be loaded with 40. So this is how you run. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you want to write back the data, something like 80 is there in my R3 register. If I want to change it in the 5th address location, so how will I write? I will write str r. What is my destination? From where I have to update the value? It is the R3 value, right? So R3, comma, where I have to write R2, content of R2. So this IT will be now loaded into the register, the address location 5. So store the byte to the memory location Rn plus offset. Okay. So now we will execute the code with an example. So what we are discussing is to add 4 numbers. So let us take the 4 numbers as 4, 5, 8 and 15 in decimal. So in hexadecimal it corresponds to 5. Sorry, F. Okay. So how to perform this? So we have already loaded, we have to load these 4 values in some global variables x1, x2, x3, x4. So that I have now assigned it to the registers R0, R1, R2 and R3. So to add all these, what we should do? Add all the numbers 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus 15. So what you will get? 100. What is R0 plus R1? 100. 101.
Ma'am.
So what will be R0 plus R1, ma?
9, ma'am.
So first what we have to do, we have to add R0 and R1 and store the result back in the R0 register itself. So what will we get? It will be now loaded with 9 because 4 and 5 are added and it is now 9 and it is updated in R0. So next what we can do, we can add these two. Again you add R0 plus R2. What will be the result? 1 or 2? 9 plus 8.
Ma'am, 17.
Okay, what will be the hexadecimal value?
Ma'am, is 1 and what's what is
No, divided by 16. So 1 remainder is 1, right?
yes.
So in hexadecimal it will be 1 1. So now again you update the same thing, added value in R register itself. So perform R0 and R1, store it in R0. Again with that R0 you are adding your R2, storing it in again in R0. Again this R0 you add it with R3. So what will be the result? 1 or 3?
32.
So decimal is 17 here. The last number decimal is 15 here. What will be the decimal value added result?
32.
32. What will be the hexadecimal? Will be 20. When you divide it by 16, 2 is your quotient, remainder 0. So 20 hex. Okay, got it all of you? So this way we have to write the coding. So the same thing, I have written the coding. So what we are doing here is, first you have to declare the variables global initializations using your directives in the data memory. Okay, so this x1 EQU4, what is this 104? What is EQU operate mean instruction? What is it doing? Ma'am has already taught this.
Ma'am.
EQU, what does that mean? X1 EQU4. What happened?
Assembler device, ma'am.
Assembler directives. Okay. So EQU is now 4 is loaded in the variable x1. Okay. So 5 is loaded in x2. So this x1, x2, x3, x4 will have some address, the reference address. Okay. So we will use that address and we will try to load the data. So next what we are starting, we are loading the value, assigning the variables first, and we are giving our input values 4, 5, 8 and 15. So next what we are doing in your main coding, we are starting with LDR instruction. So LDR R0 comma equal to x1, which means the content in x1. What is the content in x1? 4. So this 4 will be now loaded into R0. So what will be the value you have in R0? It will be having 4 now. Similarly, LDR R1 equal to x2 means, what is the value of x2? 5. So 5 will be loaded in your R1 register. And R2 will be now loaded in with the value 8. And with this instruction, your R3 will be loaded with 15 decimal, which is nothing but 0F in hexadecimal. Okay, if you don't specify, by default it will consider it as a decimal number. So next what we are doing, we don't have any instruction directly to add all 4 numbers. So what we are doing, we are trying to add R0 and R1 first, and where we are updating the result, we are updating the result back in R0 itself. So what we are doing, R0 and R1 are added and the result is updated in R0 register. So now it will be what? 9 will be in the R0 register. Next again what we are doing, we are trying to add this R0 value with the next value, which is R2. Which will be what? 9 plus 8, 17 in decimal. And the last addition will have the last 4th number. So R0 plus R3, which is equal to 32 in decimal, or it is 20 in hex. Is the program clear for all of you? Any doubts you have?
Clear, ma'am.
Okay, ma. I'll just show the demo of how you will get it in the cave. So what I've done is I've just already copied it and I've added the file into the project. So now we will execute this. So I'll go into the debug mode. So first the instruction is move R0 comma hex 4. It is because your LDR is now loaded with x1. So x1 is having the value 4. Okay, so it is decoded, and now R0 has the value 4. So next instruction, R1 is loaded with X2. X2 is what? 5. So your R1 is loaded with 5. Click twice. So and R3 is now loaded with 8. And R4 will be loaded with F. So after your add instruction, first add instruction, R0 and R1 are added and 9 is loaded back into the R0 register. Okay. So if you execute the next add instruction, so 9 plus 8, 17. In hexadecimal, it is 1. 1 is updated. So when you add the last instruction, it is 32 in decimal or 20 in hexadecimal. Okay. So this is how you can perform the sum of 4 numbers. Clear for all of you? Shall we proceed? If you have any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll go with the next one. Any doubts? Okay. So next instruction, what you should know is the branch instructions. So branch instruction, it is like you're having your if condition or like conditional statements. You have to perform some other task other than the regular task. Okay. So in that case, in ARM Cortex, this branch instruction helps us in doing that. B is the letter which indicates it is a branching. Okay. Then you have to specify the condition. So what condition you are checking and what is that letter you have to specify. I will just tell you in the next one. So here you have different conditions, the conditional branches like equal, not equal, carry set, carry clear, unsigned lower, unsigned higher, minus, plus, overflow, no overflow. So here you have greater than, equal to, greater than, less than, equal to. So here you have the suffix given, which you will use it in the along with the branch instruction. So if you add BEQ, it means branch equal, which means that you will check whether your zero flag is set. So BEQ means it will check whether your zero flag is set. If BNE means if the zero flag is cleared. So likewise, you can have your branch instruction. So for example, if I'm having an instruction CMP is compare R0 comma 1. So I'm checking whether R0 is equal to 1. And I'm telling BEQ, which means that if it is equal, then the carry zero flag will be set. If it is set, then where it has to go? It has to move to the some other location loop. So if it is not equal, it will not go to this loop. It will try to continue the next instructions. So we will see an example. So now we will use this branch instructions for our next coding to find the number of positive and negative numbers in an array. So let us take an array first, A, which has some 10 elements. Okay. So what are the data that you should have when you are finding the positive and negative numbers? You should have your array elements. You should know how many elements are there in the array. How will you find whether the given number is positive number or a negative number? Which bit is specifying the sign of the number? 106. How will you check whether the given number is positive number or a negative number, ma?
First value 1 means negative, ma'am.
Okay, so when your MSB bit is 1 means it is a negative number. Good. So when it is 0, it is a positive number. So since we are dealing with, thank you, Ma. Since we are dealing with 32-bit register, we will take an value 800000 hex, which means you are making only MSB bit as high and rest other all the bits as 0. Okay, in binary form if you are representing. So this is your 31st bit. Okay, so what we can do is we can take the element from the array, the first element, then we can convert that into a binary. You can take the binary value. So since it is 1, your LSB bit alone will be 1. So what we can perform is we can perform an AND operation. So what you will get, all bits are 0. So if your resultant after AND is 0, it means what? It is a positive number. Suppose if I'm taking it as negative number and I'm having a 1 like this, then what will I get? Instead of 0, I will be getting a 1 here. If the ANDed result is 1, then it means it is a negative number. So this way I can perform a simple AND operation and I can get to know whether the given number is a positive number or a negative number. If it is a positive number, I will count the number of positive. Okay, so I will have a P count and again I will have a N count, which counts the negative number. So if my AND value M result is 0, then it will be a positive number. If not, it will be a negative number. So that is what we have done here. So how long we should repeat this kind of thing? The first data I have taken, I have performed AND operation. I am checking the result. If it is 0, I am counting positive number. Else I am counting negative number. Then what should I do? I should go for taking the second number and I should perform the same process. I should do it or I should complete till the last element is reached. So you should know the number of elements in the array. So first what we are doing is we are loading the base address of the array. So this array name A will have some base address. It's a pointer. So I will point to this base address. Always this base address corresponds to what? The first element in the array. Okay, so first we will load that. Then we will load the value 8 followed by 7 hex in one of the register. Then we will initialize a counter register to count the number of elements in the array. So I will load it with the variable n or a count. So it will contain the number of elements in the array. So first what I am doing, I am reading the first data from the memory and I am loading it in the temporary register. Then I am performing the AND operation. I am comparing the value with 0. If 0 flag is not set, then it is a negative number. If 0 flag is set, it is a positive number. So I am counting the number of negative elements. If not, I will count the number of positive elements. Then what should I do? I should decrement the count. So we have n elements. I should also remember whether I have completed all the numbers or not. So I will decrement the counter and I will check whether it has become 0. So this way you can repeat the process until all the values are scanned. Okay. So I will just show you with an example. So if suppose my input is 11223343, so the equivalent binary is this and the ANDed value we are ANDing with 8 followed by 70. So this, if you perform, it will be all 0. So it will be taking it as a positive number. Suppose if it is a negative number, the 2's complement data will be taken and with that data you will be performing the AND operation. So here you are getting 1 here. If one input is 0, obviously the result is going to be 0. So only thing is your MSB bit alone only will be present. It is a negative number. Okay. So this way you can count the number of positive and negative elements in the array. So the coding, I will explain the coding and I will show you the demonstration. So what we are doing here is we are declaring the array with the name array DCD. So this is data code with we are loading the 32-bit data. So if it is a DCB, it is a 8-bit data. So if you want to load a 32-bit data, then you have to load DCD. Okay. So it is nothing but you are loading the data into the memory, data code memory. Okay. So it has 10 elements. So first element, 10, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what I'm doing, I'm using one variable n, which is loaded with the hard-coded value 8 followed by 7 zeros. Then your main coding starts. So here these two are your global initialization. Okay. Next, in the main memory, what you are doing, R5 is equal to n, which means the base address of this n is taken and that content is taken and loaded into my R5 register. So R5 will be loaded with the value 8 followed by 70. And R1 is equal to array, which means the base address of this array will be loaded in my R1 register. Okay. And R2 is loaded with A, which means it is 10, the number of elements. So R2 contains the number of elements in the array. So I will start with loading the first data first. So the content of R5, where is it R5 pointing to? R5 is pointing to the base address of your n. So the content in 5 is what? 8 followed by 70. So that is loaded in my R0. So now R0 is equal to what? X 8 okay, then R4 is loaded with the R1 content. So R1 is content loaded with the base address of the array. So what is the base address of the array? It is pointing to the first data. So the first data will be taken. Okay. So then what you're doing, you're performing the AND operation between R0 and R4. So like your previous one. So this data is taken and you're performing. So the result is 0. Okay. So what we are doing after this, we have to point to the next address. So the next address, we are incrementing R1 by 4. So R1 is pointing to the base address of the array. To access the second data, what we are doing, we are incrementing the program counter by 4. So this depends on the pipelining of the pipelining structure. Okay. So here in your ARM Cortex, the program counter is incremented by 4 because you have 4 bytes. So it should point to the next address. So each 32-bit data is there. So based on the pipeline structure, what happens? You have to add by 4. Okay. So it will correspond to the next data. So R1 is now pointing to the next data. Next, what you are doing, you are comparing whether your R0 is equal to 0. That means ANDed result is now updated in R0. You are checking whether it is 0. If it is 0, what you will be doing? You will be adding with the positive number. If it is not 0, you will be adding with the negative number. Okay. So what you are doing here, you have add PL. You remember what is PL? So PL is nothing but a plus or positive number when your N flag, negative flag is clear. If it is MI, your N flag is set. So based on the negative flag, your R3 contains the number of positive elements and R6 contains the number of negative elements. Okay. So R3 will have positive and R6 will have the negative. So next, after this, what we are doing, we have compared the AND value and updated the number of positive and negative count. Then what we should do, we should subtract the count. So we have 10 elements. We have completed one element. So we are subtracting R2 by 1. And we are checking whether the value is not equal, which means your 0 flag is set or not. So if 0 flag is not set, what I'm saying, I'm asking to go to this my loop. So this, when it encounters this label, it goes to this location, my loop. So again, it starts continuing and it repeats until your R2 becomes 0. So once this condition fails, it goes to the next instruction, end. Okay. Any doubt in the coding? Any doubts in your coding? Shall we see the demonstration? Please reply no.
Ma'am, that subtracting part, why we are doing, ma'am? R2 minus 1.
The count, ma'am. We have 10 elements, no? So what is your R2? R2 is 10. Right? So array A has 10 elements. Okay? So first I have scanned only the first element. So next I am scanning the second one. Next, third one. Fourth one. So what is the count? The number of elements in an array is stored in the variable R2. So I have completed one operation. I compared this with whether it is a positive or negative number, and I am telling that there are only 9 more elements. Got it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Got it.
So you have to repeat until all the data is completed. So we are checking whether it is reached 0. That means no more elements are there in the array. You can even use with the 0 in some other register, and you can even increment it and compare whether your R2 and one more register you have that is all equal or not. That way also you can use. It's not that you have to use only subtract. You can even increment it and check with this count whether all the count has been reached. You can try your own logic also. Any other doubts? Is it okay? The others? Any other doubts? Shall we see the demonstration? Okay, I will remove this file from the project and I will add positive, negative number for the same coding. So here we have initialized the data. In the main, we have loaded R5, the array base address. R2 is loaded with 10. So we will see. So we have to add the file into the project. So I add it. Next I will compile it. And I move on to the debug mode. So first what we are doing. So R5 is loaded with N. So N base addresses, this is the base address. Okay. So R5 is loaded with the base address of your N value, and R1 is loaded with the base address of the array. So array is now in the base address, this location. Okay. Next what we are doing, we are moving R2 with hex 0A. So R2 is moved with hex 0A. Next what we are doing, we are loading the content of R5 into my R0. What is R5? It is base address of N. And now what is the content in N? It is 8 or 7 zeros. So now R0 is updated with this content. Okay. Next what we are doing, we are loading the content in the R1. So the content in the R1 location is the first data, which is 11223343. So that data is now loaded. So next what we are doing, we are performing AND operation between these two, and we are updating it in R0. So here your MSB bit is, what is the MSB bit here?
One,
108. MSB bit is?
Ma'am.
108. What is the MSB bit of this number, ma? Is it a positive number or a negative number?
Positive bit.
It is a positive bit because you have to represent this in binary number. So if you represent this in binary number, what you will get? This 1 will be represented as 0001. So the 31st bit will be 0 here. Okay, you will be making mistake here. So here it is not this 1 represents a negative number. Okay, so you have to convert this into binary number and always check the 31st bit. Okay, so here it is a positive number. So 0. So when you AND with 8 7 zeros, it will be 0, all zeros. So that is why you are getting R0 AND with R4 as all zeros. So now what you will do? Where is the pointer now pointing to? The base address 8 followed by 250. So when you run this, you are incrementing by 4. That means what? You are pointing to the next data. So after that, what you are doing, you are comparing the result whether it is 0. So if it is 0, what you should have? It is a positive number. So R3 will be now incremented by 1. So it indicates the first number is a positive number and it is being incremented. Next, what we are doing? We have taken the second data from this memory address 254. So the second data is taken and the equivalent negative number. So here you have decremented also. So this count you have to decrement before that. So you have decremented. Next, the data is taken. So what is the data here? It is minus hex 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2. So now this is my second data. The 2's complement number. Is this a positive number or a negative number? 110.
Negative, ma'am.
Because when you represent E, it is 1110. So 31st bit is 1. So it is a negative number. We will see what happens. So when you perform AND operation, it is loaded with 8 only. Okay, so it is not equal to 0. So you are incrementing the address to the next data. You have to decrement the count. And now your R6 register is incremented by 1 because it is a negative number. Then after completing the process, you are decrementing the count. So you repeat this for the next data. You continue likewise for all the data. So until your R2 becomes 0. Okay. So 4 more datas are left out. So parallelly, you can see the flags also here. It is getting updated. So 0 flag will be set for a positive number and 0 flag will not be set for a negative number. Okay. So here if you look into the register, now your R2 has turned 0. Okay. So what happens? It comes out of the loop. So how many positive numbers you have? 5 positive numbers, and R6 contains a negative number. 5 negative numbers are there. Okay. So clear for all of you? Any doubts you have, we can have a discussion. Any doubts? Is it clear for all of you? Please reply no, respond. Yes? Any doubts? Shall we proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we have demonstrated the 2 codings, one for addition of 4 numbers and detecting positive and negative numbers. So the next two codings you have to write by yourself. We will be telling only the algorithm. So you have to try writing the coding and get the result. Okay. So the next one is sum of n numbers. So earlier we added only 4 numbers. So here what I want to do is I want to add numbers starting from 1 till n. So here n, I mean it is the count. Okay, starting from 1, I have to count till the number I am specifying. So if I am specifying my count as 5, so I should perform 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Till 5 I have to count. If it is 7, I should perform 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7. Okay. So how to do it? So first what we can do is we can initialize the value count. Okay. So till what number we have to add. So that is mainly important. And all number, that is you need 2 variables. One to have the sum. So let us initialize it to 0. Next what we are doing, we are loading this count into the register R0 and this sum into another register R1. Okay, and we have to increment, it is all consecutive numbers. So we can have one register with the starting value as 0 and we can increment the values in order to get the second number, third number and so on. Okay, so let me initialize this R2 with 1. So now what we have to do is you have to add the content of R2 plus R1. What is R1? It is the sum. So sum is equal to sum plus R2. So R2 is now initially 1. Okay, so here your sum is 0. So 0 plus 1 is now added and the result is again stored back in the sum itself. So I am adding the content of R2 and R1 and I am storing the result back in my R1 or it is the sum. Okay. Next what I am doing, I am incrementing this R2 plus 1 because I have to add 2 with the next number. With the result I have to add 2. So what I am doing, I am incrementing my R2 and I am storing back in my R2 itself. So R2 is incremented by 1. Next what we are doing, we are checking whether we have reached the count. So how can we do? For that I am doing R0 and R2 are subtracted and I am storing it in the result R4. What is my R0? R0 contains my n value. So this I am subtracting it with R2. What is the current number I am adding? Okay, so I will subtract and see whether it is equal to 0. If it is not equal to 0, then I have to repeat this addition. If the difference is 0, then it means I have come to the last data, last count I have reached. Then what you have to do, you have to add this last number and you can stop the program. So I will just show you with an example. Suppose my count is 5 and R0 is my count value, which is 5. Sum is 0 and R1 is assigned with the sum value and R2 is 1. So initially if you see, R1 is the sum value which is 0 and R2 is now initialized to 1. So what we are doing, we are performing these two addition and we are storing it in R1. Okay, so it is R1 plus R2. Next what we are doing, your R2 is incremented by 1 and we are storing back in this R2 itself. And this difference you are checking, you are saying 3 more numbers to be added. Okay, so in the next iteration what you will have, your R0 is 1 and your R2 is 2. So these two you will add and that result will be available and your R2 you are incrementing it to 2. So you have added 0 plus 1 plus 2. Next iteration what you are doing, still it is not equal to 0. So you are adding So this R1 is now added with 3. Okay, so 3 plus 3 is 6 you are getting. So you have added 1 plus 2 plus 3. Next what you are doing, take this, perform the operation plus 4. You will be getting 10. And the result is now 0. So what you have reached, you have added 4 numbers, but you have reached 0. Still you have not added this 5. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to add after the branch one more addition to be done, because you have to add the last digit also. The count is also to be added. So for that you are adding R1 plus R2 and storing back in R1 itself. So you will get 10 plus 5, which is 15. Okay. So this is how you will perform the sum of n numbers. Any doubts in the logic? We have given the algorithm and one sample thing. So with this you can write the coding. Any doubts? Will you be able to write the coding? It is based on the first 2 coding only. Okay. The same instructions, algorithm is only different. Shall we proceed to the next program? Shall we proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
The last coding is your array addition. So in the first coding, we just added 4 numbers. So here what is the difference is, you are going to add the data in the array, not in 4 different variables. All the data is now in the array form. So you have to access the array and get the data from the array, and you're going to perform the addition. So what we are doing here is, we are trying to initialize an array. Okay, like how we did in positive and negative numbers. So we have initialized an array. So initialize a global array and have a register R0 with the sum as 0. We have not performed any addition, so clear the register R0. Next, what you are doing in R1, you try to access the array elements. So starting from the base address. So starting base address will be the array address. So load the starting address of the array in the data register R1. Next, what we have to do, we have to load the count. We should know how many elements are there in the array. Only then we can perform the addition till then. So I'm using the count and I will be updating in the register R2. Next, what we are doing, we are reading the data from the R1 and I am taking it in the register R3. So the first data is now available in R3. The result sum is now available, cleared and available in R0. So what we are doing, so we are adding R0 and R3. Okay. So next what we are doing, we are adding the content of R0 and R3 and we are storing that in only in the same register R0. So it is R0 is nothing but your sum. So it is sum plus number. Okay. Next, after adding the first number, what we should do, we have to point to the next location. So how to do access the next location? So where is the address pointing? It is with the base address R1. So with that you are adding 4, which will move the base address pointing in the first location to the second data's base address. So you are incrementing it by 4. And next what you are doing, you are accessing the next element. So after pointing to the next address, what we should do, we should decrement the count. So we should perform this count addition until the count becomes 0. So you are subtracting R2 by 1 and you are storing it in R2 itself. So if the result is not equal, then go to step, otherwise stop the program. So if your n becomes 0, you can stop the program. Otherwise, you repeat the steps by accessing the data and adding the contents and incrementing the counter, decrement the counter to check whether all the data is over and you can stop the program. So here, sample example. So if this is the base address, this is the first element's base address. I have loaded my count with 5 and R0 is the result which is initialized to 0. Okay. So R1 is pointing to this base address. If I'm accessing the data, it will correspond to the first data. So with the 0 I'm adding and it is updated in R0 and the address is incremented by 4 here to point to the next base address. Okay. Next you are decrementing the count. So now the element is pointing to this base address. So the data here is 34. So with this result, 34 is added and it is updated in R0 and you are pointing to the next location and you are decrementing the count. So you are repeating until your count becomes 0. Okay. So this way you have to perform your array addition. Any doubts you have? The algorithm. So with this we are stopping. Any doubts you have? Discuss. Any doubts you have? Are you hearing? Clear. What about the others? All are clear? Okay. I think you would have attended the first, Viva for the previous experiment. For this experiment, we will post the Viva on Tuesday. Okay. So those who have missed the Viva, you will be marked 0. Okay. So next week you have to submit the output form for this experiment. So here I have ma'am has circulated in the Google Classroom. So you have to write the coding for sum of n numbers, the array addition, and for the input. So I've given for 4 cases. Okay. So first is addition of 7 numbers. So similar to your addition of 4 numbers, you are going to perform addition of 7 numbers. For that, you can take your register numbers. All of you take your register number and give that as the input data. So you can add the individual data and the result can be printed. Okay, so that result can be given here. And for sum of n numbers, the count is to be given. So count, you can take the 5th and 6th digit of your register number. I will share the screen and I will just show you. Is the screen visible for all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what you can do is in the output sheet, you can take the for the addition of 7 numbers, you can take your register number and you can perform the addition and you can print the result. For n numbers, sum of n numbers, you need the count value. So count, all of you can take your reference number, the 5th and 6th digit of your register number. So it will not be same for all of you. Maybe some will have the same numbers. Okay. So you have to perform 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus till the count what you have in 5th and 6th digit together. Suppose if it is 20, then you have to perform till 20. 1 plus till 20. Okay. Take that as a decimal value. Next, for the number of positive and negative numbers, you can assign any 6 numbers containing both positive and negative numbers. Okay. So the number of elements you have to assign, that depends on the 5th and 6th digit. So you add these two digits. You have 5 and 6th digit, 0 plus 6. So you assign 6 elements. For example, I have given some numbers. You can give your own numbers. Suppose if it is 20, then 2 plus 0 is 2. So then you can have only 2 elements in the array. So minimum you have 2. If the sum is 1, you can give 2 numbers because you should know how to count positive and negative numbers. Minimum 2 numbers you can give. Okay. And for array addition, you can give consecutive 5 register numbers. Include your register number and 5 other consecutive register numbers as the data in the array. And add these data and print the result. Okay, so this will be your assignment for your this week experiment. Any doubts on this? Any doubts? Ma'am, attendance we can take, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Roll number 98, unmute yourself and answer the attendance. Okay. Roll number 98.
98%, ma'am.
99.
Ma'am, 99%, ma'am.
100.
Present, ma'am.
101.
Present, ma'am.
2. 102 absent. 103.
Present, ma'am.
4.
Present, ma'am.
5.
Present, ma'am.
6.
106 present, ma'am.
7. 108.
108 present, ma'am.
109.
Present, ma'am.
110.
110 present, ma'am.
111.
111 present, ma'am.
112.
112 present, ma'am.
113.
113 present, ma'am.
114.
Present, ma'am.
115. Siva. Absent. 116.
Present, ma'am.
117.
Present, ma'am.
118. Sudhakar. Absent. 119.
Present,
ma'am.
1 present, ma'am.
118.
Present, ma'am.
119. Okay. 120.
1
120. 121.
120 present, ma'am.
121
120 present, ma'am.
22.
Yes, ma'am.
23.
Yes, ma'am.
24. Vishal.
He's not in the meeting, ma'am.
125.
Present, ma'am.
126.
126 present, ma'am.
7.
Yes, ma'am. 207, yes, ma'am.
208.
208 present, ma'am.
209.
209 present, ma'am.
210.
Present, ma'am.
211.
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, 1 or 2 present, ma'am.
1 or 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am? Ma'am?
Yes.
115 present, ma'am.
So today absentee is roll number 124, Vishal.
See, all of you keep your coding safely. During the Viva, we will be asking you to project the coding what you have written, and you will be asked to modify something that will be also taking place. Okay, so please save all your codings and have all your documents safe. Have a backup also. Anything you have doubts? If you have, you can.
If you have any doubts, you can unmute and ask.
Ma'am, shall we wind off, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then thank you all of you.